Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm your host, Bob DeMarco. And tonight, as always, I started the show without one of my microfiber rags, which are all over the place close to me, because I have a lot of things to show, and a lot of them are fingerprint magnets. If it looks like I'm on the bridge of the Death Star with this light behind me, I've noticed that it helps with our new knife cam. Jim? Knife cam? So I want to be showing off knives a little more closely. I got a new ring light. Of course, I will have to figure out the blocking, if you will. But I want to be able to show off things in a different way with better light, closer, maybe with better focus. I mean, this iPhone is a way better camera than what I'm dealing with here on my even on my laptop. So look at that. Wouldn't you know? And as the weeks go by, I'll figure out how to zoom within this platform. But for now, I do have hands, and I can pick this up. And well, this is a great way to just launch right into the pocket check today. Yes, I was carrying my Great Eastern Cutlery number 44, and this is a gun stock pattern, as you can tell. I've been carrying this one a lot recently. I got this for my birthday a couple of years back for myself. It was a little gift, and I've been carrying it quite a bit lately. I don't know why. Well, because it's a classic, awesome jackknife. It's large. It's got okay, I'll get this. It's got pretty substantial blades. It's got a beautiful Gabon ebony handle, and I love that hot dog shield. Yes, it does look like a hot dog, and I think some people don't like it. You know what? I'm learning. There are some hardcore GEC collectors who are very finicky, like old Italian man finicky. And I'd like to learn about that and become finicky in that way. But before I do, I'll just say I love the hot dog shield. I think it's cool. So sue me. It's a free country. Remember those things people used to say it's a free country, and they don't say that anymore because anyway, in my front right pocket, Dave, good to have you, sir. Good to have you. Let's see. Got to get you some pro gear, but very compelling. Bob looks great. Thank you, sir. That's true. Dave is a man. His videos are pretty awesome, I gotta say. Today I was carrying my American Blade Works Model 1 version 5. I adore this knife. And as you might see, it's not exactly in my usual wheelhouse in that it's a little smaller than I usually like at 3.25 inches. Let's come over here to the knife cam. What do you say? And yeah, so it's got a shorter blade and a less murdery look in general, but dear Lord, I love this knife, and it is incredibly sharp, and everything about it works perfectly, I gotta say. And I don't usually use that term, that word, perfect. So a beautiful knife. This was in my front right pocket, and then I had the old fixed blade Elvia also hanging around, but I don't have it with me. It's on my dresser upstairs. Let's all applaud Jim for his awesome holiday theme. Look at that. I mean, I cannot help but be festive. A little bit of wine left over from dinner. Thank you. Yes, I will. So Jim's work looks awesome. Jim's got some awesome themes. This is my favorite so far. The first one I think he's shown so far. And then we have this new knife cam. So I'm excited to show some of the knives I've gotten recently since No New Knife November has ended. Excuse me. And it ended, and a flood, wouldn't you know, a flood of knives came in. I wouldn't say a flood, but in general, oh, geez. Okay, this is conflicting. These are two conflicting things here. In one sense, I say there's a flood. Manny, how you doing there? I'm sorry. I feel like I'm bloviating. I haven't said hi to anyone so far. So good evening to all of you. Incognito Griffin, my stream sub guys, my first stream. How you doing? Good to have you here, sir. Well, you'll find that what we do here is talk a lot about knives. Feel free to jump in. It is always a pleasure to take new ideas. That's something we don't have a lot of these days. For instance, I was having a good conversation back and forth. Well, it's kind of hard to say that because sometimes I lag on my comment response, but having a conversation with someone online and realizing that we were going after different things in our conversation, but it was good to have the conversation in the first place, and great to honor a like-minded person who might have a different opinion. Crazy Knife Freak. I recognize that face. How you doing, sir? Good to have you here. It's been great, fantastic. One thing before we move on, before I move on to say, subscribe on YouTube, like, comment, and also send videos to people. Share it if you think it's good, and you think, I think my friend might have a need for that knife. Let me send him this video and it might convince him. Please do that. That's actually, that sharing of videos is a really, really great thing for all channels. All channels that you like, share their videos because, it really helps. Excuse me. And today, actually, on the way home from work, I heard that YouTube is changing up some of their policies, man. Speak up when you need to. That's all I got to say. At least this is not a political show. Thank God this is not a political show, or I'd be worried for myself right now. So subscribe on YouTube. Go to Instagram, thenifejunkie.com, or at the Knife Junkie on Instagram, and Facebook group. I've recently shown up there and begun to show up there with less frequency than originally intended, but I'm there now, and that's awesome. And I'm interested in expanding the dialogue in that direction. So please check out all of those places. Now, as we move into Life Knife News, I just want to say what tonight is. I want to talk tonight a little bit about, as you send in your pocket checks, what your best lockdown knife purchases have been. I don't know. I've been a little bummed out. I'm kind of sick of all this stuff. I'm really getting a little sick of all of it. And some of the bright moments have been spending more time with family, for sure. And I could see how that's a double-edged sword. It hasn't. I would be a Pollyanna if I were to say every moment has been fantastic. There have been serious moments of tension. Charlie the Lefty, good to have you here, sir, carrying the Ultratech Hellhound. I love that blade. It's almost Mall Ninja, but it skirts it. Dirk, how you doing, man? Reese Whelan, fatty slash in the pocket today. Okay. No. Just had one on loan, a version 4. It was really nice. Oh, I think you're talking about this because you made a video of it. I'm going to need to pick me up an American Blade Works knife. I think you will. I think yeah. Michael Martin of American Blade Works, man, I love what you do, and I love how nimble you are, and I love how open to criticism, but you're not flapping in the breeze, like doing every little thing. But I like how you take input from your users. Kaiser Guru and GEC6 Pemberton. GE6 Pemberton, you say? Is it the one like this with the muslin micarta and the Warncliffe? Interested. I thought that this was the first run in 2018 or 2019, but apparently it wasn't, and they came out with different blades. Hey, Jock, how's it going? Carrying a Tad Dauntless. Ooh, and a Hinderer Slippy today. We have an aristocrat with us, ladies and gentlemen. I am dying for a Tad Dauntless, and I will get one. In the meantime, I might end up getting I know I'm getting a Terrain 365 STS-AT, and the reason I lump those together is because of the Patrick Ma connection, and they have similar aesthetics, but also the Prometheus Works, the other one that looks a bit like the Dauntless. I want to get that one too. Can't remember what it's called right off the bat, but all Patrick Ma designs, and they're resonating, let's say. Hey, Joe, how's it going? Giant Mouse Ace Grand. I hope that's with micarta, sir. I think that's how it comes. It's sexy. It's beautiful. I love the Giant Mouse knives, except I have to say I'm not a great big fan of the one that's kind of Persian-y. That's kind of recent. Not a huge fan of that one. But, you know, whatever. You can't be everybody's friend, and you can't love every knife design. So there you go. Dave says, is a lockdown knife more a liner lock or a lockback? Always, always. See, I'm a dad. I appreciate dad jokes. Hey, Dave, let me know. Seriously, I know you've acquired a few over the past 10 months. Has it been 9 months? Let me know what it's been. That's been the favorite. I think I know what my favorite of yours is. Charlie the Lefty, the Hellhound was a lockdown purchase. Awesome. I mean, because you're like, look, if it's all going to hell, I better get a Hellhound. That was good. Caleb says, carried the Kirby Lambert snap and the UTX 70 Spartan blade. I love the Spartan blade. I love double edge, gotta say. And I love the double tanto. That's what it is. That's what that Spartan blade is. It's a double tanto back to back. It's two tantos back to back fighting their way out of a bar. I like that. But also, Jim, would you mind going back for a second, please? The Kirby Lambert snap. Kirby Lambert is someone that I've tried to get on this show, and I will eventually, not on this show, but on the interview show. And I love his designs. He's kind of like, to me, there are certain people like Bill Harsey. Everything he does, I'm like, I love it and I recognize it. Kind of the same thing with him, Kirby Lambert and the snap. Beautiful. Well done. You're a classy fella. The GSP Penguin, also a classy knife, and on a different spectrum. I love it. It's like a sheep's foot. It's not a Wharncliffe. To me, it's a sheep's foot, right? And so it's like a big sheep's foot that you would find, say, in a egads. I thought I'd have one close at hand to show you. I don't have any sheep's foot close at hand, but it's like a big, modern, traditional blade in a modern knife, and I think that's cool. Kaiser Swag Swayback, that's the button lock. I'm looking forward to checking that out. And the Kershaw Blur M4. So, Chris, is that M4? Is that some sort of exclusive? Is that a Blade HQ exclusive? I think wine gives me bags under my eyes. Excuse me. Let me know. Charlie the Lefty says the Concept Knives Lefty Warrior. Is that the one designed by the French fella? There are two of them that have just come out. Oh, no, those are the penguins? Penguins? I'm not sure, but I have to get my hands on a Concept knife. I always say Concept. I'm sorry. I mean Concept. I know that's how it's pronounced. I just see it and my mind goes there. And the pricing on the American, but yeah, it is crazy awesome. And it's almost custom. I mean, it's not, but you know, he sent this to me and said, let me know if there's anything I should change. And I'm like, geez, man, that's so humble. You know, and actually I have one tiny little thing that I'm going to suggest, and I'm not even going to say what it is right here. And it is, let me just say right out, it has nothing to do with the build, the quality, the action, or how it works. It's 100% a taste thing. And I just want to see. What can I say? I went to art school for many years, and the whole name of the game is critique. And critique doesn't mean just criticizing people. It means telling them things that will help them become better. And Michael Martin seeks it. So why not give your honest opinion? Mark Herrera says, Benchmade Grizzly Ridge. Ooh, yes, I like that, with the extra bit of jimping right at the tip, and the Rough Rider Cotton Sampler. Oh, Cotton Sampler, you say? Did we have this conversation last week? I think maybe we did. Here's mine. I love it. It's with the green micarta. I mean, this thing is this is the worst Rough Rider I've gotten. It's way out of whack, but I don't care. It doesn't wiggle. There's no blade play, and it's the micarta is convincing. Let's put it that way. Monster Racing, how's it going, man? How's it going tonight, Bob? It's going well. Good to see you, sir. Kellen Krug says, Seal XR. It's funny. I was responding to a comment today about a Seal XR, and I don't remember who it was. May have been someone who's commenting, perhaps right at this moment, or someone else. I can't remember, but they were saying that they did a job that involved working in the dirt, and that job hated the Seal XR. Beefy and badass as it is, just bearings, I would imagine. I don't know. We didn't get into it, but I posited that the bearings might be an issue if you're going into the dirt with that thing, because I had that on loan. Beautiful knife. I had it on loan from Peter, Therapeutic Edge, and you go like this, and you can see some giant ball bearings in that pivot, and you can see how gook, filth, and muck could get stuck in there. Monster Racing says, just a Kershaw dividend and a Victorinox tinker. Just a Kershaw dividend and a Victorinox tinker. Interesting. Well, here's a little preview. It's not a tinker, but I just got a Victorinox, and I don't have very many at all, and they're mostly incidental. Like I got them for travel, or I got them as gifts. But this was one that I purchased to replace the only other one I ever purchased, which I lost. And I swear, I don't lose knives. And when I do, like I lost one on a subway track. I waited around for an hour and a half for a station agent with a long thing to come pull it. It was my Vaquero, cold steel Vaquero. Waited around for it. I do not lose knives. Had one pickpocketed. That's gone forever. Incognito Griffin says, lockdown purchase black bug out. Ooh, and Condor Bowie. Which one? Condor has a whole bunch of cool Bowies. The Undertaker is the one that I've been considering in the last 6 months, with that beautiful handle with all the rivets and the giant blade. There's also this Bowie I've been seeing called the Virginia Bowie. Oh my God, it's this tremendous creation. A shameless plug. Dave says, my lockdown knife is the the Black Cow. Talk about a cool clip point blade. Holy mackerel. And check out Dave's, he's this old sword blade reviews on YouTube. Check out his review of the Black Cow, which is, it's that interesting lockback with the Spanish heritage, and just an incredibly beautiful blade. I love that blade. The whole handle, everything about it is cool. And then it's got a weird locking situation. TRM Adam, you say. It's got a weird locking mechanism situation, and you can't just readily flip it out. I can't remember exactly what it is. There might be sort of a half stop, sort of like in a traditional knife, but that would be, kind of apropos for a traditional Spanish folding knife. They tend to have notches and stages of opening, like the Navajas. Nick says, Senior Nick's PM2, a Microtech Ultratech Live. And someone also mentioned they had their TRM Atom on them, which I love my TRM Atom. Hang on one second, Nick. I want to get back to your comment, but I love this TRM Atom, and I love green micarta, and I love the whole thing, but I want something. Does anyone have a good bead on some special scales I could get for this? There's a guy, excuse me. Manaj. There's a guy on Instagram called EDC Lawyer, I think, he's got an endless supply of sweet scales that he seems to swap on. I need to get kind of into that sort of thing with my TRM Atom, just because they're there, and it's such a great knife, and it'd be like having a new knife every couple of weeks. Yeah. So Nick says, and the Microtech Ultratech. Now, what does live mean? I love my Microtech Ultratech double edge serrated on the top, but what's the Microtech Ultratech Live? Or is that something I'm missing? So let's take a look at some of the things that are new in the knife world. And actually, it's not that at all. It's me talking again Joe says, giving away the American Blade Works version 5 at 600 subs. I saw that, Joe, and I thought, that is a man of discipline. That is a man of character and discipline and generosity. Jeez, man, that is one hell of a giveaway. I love that. So definitely check out Joe's channel, The Knife Whisperer. I mean, it's awesome. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir at this point, but there might be some people right now who don't know who Joe is and hasn't seen the Knife Whisperer channel. If you haven't, definitely go over and subscribe. It's awesome, and it's great lunchtime viewing. What can I say, Joe? That's how I view you. Robin says, Heretic Martyr. Oh, nice. And the Rough Rider Black and Blue Barlow. Black and okay. Is that in this series with the blue bone with the black liners? I like this knife. So, Robin, I like that. I like that spread. You have a $15 knife with a $400 knife. I don't know what do Heretics cost. They're about in that Microtech area, right? So I like that kind of spread. It just shows that you're the kind of yeah, you like it all, just like me. I love it. Junkie. What can I say? Caleb says, lockdown purchases have been two Typhoons. Clear top Ultra Tech. That's cool. That's sort of the clear jade G10 that you can see all the works through, or is it completely clear, no color, transparent or translucent? I can't remember, and maybe one or two others. I've got back into patch collecting because it's a little bit cheaper. Patch collecting. That's so interesting. Excuse me. There's an infinite world. I mean, just ask Jim. He collects some cool stuff too. Ice picks. That's my favorite. People collect yardsticks from old hardware stores. I love that. So interesting. I like that. Patches. Joe, I know morale patches is a thing these days, but still, you know. Joe says, I just ordered American Blade Works on CF Twill. Okay, nice. I had in my hands at one point, I had one with the CF, and well, you know, he does great work. Tungsten Curbide says, my lockdown knives have been pair of 3 and a Casbah, Benchmade Casbah. Now, what on earth is the Casbah? I would think it's kind of an upswept blade, just from the name Casbah, Northern Africa, Casbah, you know? I don't know what that knife is, but really sucks that Evo Typhoons won't come until probably first of the year now. Lavender pants, Justin. Those are first world problems, sir. No, I'm just kidding. Don't worry. I will release these back to you. I just have to make the video. And I'm ready. I'm poised like a jungle cat ready to spring to make the video, and then I will send these back to you. Thank you very much, sir. It is greatly appreciated. I don't mean to take advantage when people send knives and I have them longer than 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks, and then maybe it's a little bit longer. It's clearly because, well, I'm enjoying them, and I really want to give them a fair shake, and I haven't quite gotten to the review yet. But those are coming back to you this weekend. Now that I said it, I have to do it. Spartan Harsey 3.25 for lockdown knife. That's awesome. I saw Brian Slicey Dicey was showing his a lot lately. He carried his today, I believe. I believe Slicey Dicey carried his, not his. Yeah, but Slicey had some nice ones. He's off the charts with his collection, man. Him and Metal Complex. Oh, God. They have some enviable pieces. Zach Stuff says, I put the sweet CF scales on my TRM Atom. Awesome. I am very interested in their wing pattern. You know, that sort of sculpted 3-dimensional wing pattern that they have. Beautiful to me. Beautiful. So something I was going to get to is that, well, I've been kind of kvetching a bit about knife news and their readers poll, and how they do this slow drip of, I mean, I don't mind the slow drip, but they do this slow drip of results for their, awesome. We're looking forward to it. Knife News, they do a slow drip of their readers poll. What's the best this, the best that? They have all these categories: fixed blade, folding, traditional, these kind of things. And readers answer the poll. Hey, Patty, how you doing, sir? Good to have you with us. Good evening, Bob Bangers. Hello from Northern Ireland. 3:30 a.m., nearly bedtime. I used to be a night owl. I really did. And then, family life and a type job, kind of took over, and I had to do that. But man, I used to be up till not 3:30, but 2 every night doing my thing. I'm going to do some painting and, change the world. So Barry said, so thanks for joining us, Stephen. It's a pleasure to have you. Barry says, hi, Bob from Colorado, carrying a Phil Hartsfield 3.5-inch Tanto. Is it a chisel ground? Phil Hartsfield, he's known for his chisel ground Tantos. Am I correct? And a Spyderco Manix 2 lightweight in CTS XHP. God, I can never say that. All right, so Therapeutic Edge, you know him, and Peter, you know him as Peter also. His pass around group, I have this, which is going out this Friday or Saturday to Zach. But this Sig Sauer reminds me a lot of the Manix lightweight, which I do not have. Well, I've never owned one. I've hefted one, and I've owned a Manix and a Manix 2XL, and this knife is very Manixy. It's not derivative. I mean, you look at it, it's not like they copied the design, but if you do look at it, it definitely has many of the desirable hallmarks of a Manix. Oh, wait. What am I doing? Of a Manix, Manix 2. You got this 50-50 choil here. It's actually more like, well, let's just call it 50-50. You have another choil here. You have this leaf-shaped blade with, this has a very high saber grind. The Manix has a full flat, but you have the same sort of locking mechanism on the Manix. It's that ball lock. Okay, I'm going to try and hold it still. And here it's the able lock. That's ambidextrous bar lock enhanced. That is the axis lock through Hogue. And you have a GRN handle and all these other kind of things. You have this great clip with this awesome those little sconces there. You grab them, it just pulls right out of your pocket beautifully. But anyway, sir, if you're interested in the Manix lightweight, you might be interested in this new Sig Sauer branded Hogue knife, the K320, which will be headed your way, sir. Oh, you don't say. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I'll put $5 in the box. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. So yeah, that is definitely a cool knife. Moving right along, I just want to say a quick thing. Nice able lock on that Sig. The able lock, I like it better than the axis lock. And then recently, I've been checking out also through the pass around group. I've been checking out the SRM, the new kind of newly branded San Renmus, and this axis lock, and they've had plenty of time to get their axis lock correct, because they've been ripping it off for years, like way before the patent ever expired. And it's still sticky and still, I don't know. But I like, we'll get to this knife. I do like its, I've talked about this one, and a video is coming out. You'll just watch the video. So knife news and this whole thing, this is what I was starting with. So what's their best upgrade of the year? Well, it's a buck 110, which is cool. The Boss Heat Treat S30V buck 110, awesome knife. I mean, what's not to love about that? Except for the fact that it's been around for 60 years. Come on, people. I don't know. Maybe there's some Spyderco upgrade to some steel. Maybe the PM2 comes in adamantium now. Maybe there's a something else other than a 60-year-old knife. But the only reason I'm talking about that and kind of going off on that is because so far every category in the Knife News Readers Poll has been occupied by Spyderco, Benchmade, Mora for fixed blade, and just kind of I can't remember. And the last one was Fox Knives, their Nauta knife, which is just they say it's based on an Italian sailing knife, but really it's just based on the Benchmade proper. All you have to do is have eyes that see, and it looks exactly like the Benchmade proper. So what am I saying? What am I going off about? What I'm saying is that all the knives in the Knife News Readers Poll are from companies that have been around forever. Spyderco, Benchmade. Oh, I love them. They're awesome. How many times do I have to say that? But it's like Coke. Oh, I love Coca-Cola. You like vanilla ice cream too? I love vanilla ice cream. It's awesome. I'm just saying that perhaps there was a better upgrade than the Buck 110 to S30V, which has been around for 1,000 years. Next, we have the best new folder. It's the Benchmade 945. This is the craziest, coolest, most original new knife I've seen all year. I'm convinced it's the best new folder. Okay, so maybe it is the best new folder, technically. Maybe it really is. I mean, maybe if you look at how it's put together, if you look at the materials, if you look at the cost, and if you look at how it operates, maybe it really is the best new folder of 2020. But is it a new folder? Or is it just a shrunk down version of another best new folder from, I don't know, a dozen years back? Okay, so what's the best new high-end folder? Let's see. What could it be? How about the Chris Reeve Sabenza 31? Yes, look at this. I've never seen anything like this. This is tremendous. Okay. All right. Okay, so they put ball bearings. they put a I know what they did. They put a ceramic interface between the blade tang and like the other one, like the Omnum Zahn, and I know what they did. I know how. Maybe this should be the best upgrade. Maybe that should be the best upgrade, and they should choose maybe a knife that hasn't been around for 31 years as the best new high-end folder. Now, I love Knife News. I do. And I'm dying to get Benjamin Schwartz on the show to talk to him. I know he's a very busy man. He's a fantastic writer. But I'd love to talk to him about this. This is nuts. Okay, so best new high-end folder is the 31-year-old Sabenza from Chris Reeve, as it is now updated for this past year. This is the only one that makes any sense to me, but you know that I'm a fanboy. So here we go. Best new value folder for 2020 is the Cold Steel SR1 Lite. Awesome blade and an awesome knife. A year old based on another knife that's 2 years old based on a fixed blade that's 15 years old. So, but that's that's me just being a dick. I mean, that is an awesome knife, and we did that as our first Patreon giveaway. I believe Caleb picked that one up in the Tanto blade, and it's an awesome knife. And I would say that that's the one so far. That's the one that I kind of agree with. All this indignance makes me thirsty. Excuse me. But, I believe me, I don't mean to come down on people. It's kind of like, but there's a lot out there. I feel like we're in a time, right? We're in a time and a place where there is so much available. So let's cast a wider net, people. Let's take another look. Handling the V3 and then the V4 really puts it in perspective, and then the V5 is even a little different. But yeah, right from here to here is this is the 3 to the 4. The feel, I mean, everything about these knives, it feels different. You know, these are awesome. I'd love to have both of them. By the by, I love the aluminum handle, and this is nice right here. Now, okay, since we're talking about it, I will say it. The one thing I like better about the version 4 than the version 5 is the lock. Is the lock undoing? On the version 5, my precious little thumb meat gets caught between the G10 and the lock sometimes. Okay, first world spoiled boy problems. And I think it's definitely not a huge deal. But if I were asked, which I was, that's the only thing I'll mention. And I've been carrying this because the version 4 is more pleasing and easy to unlock. Stop! You're going to make me buy a model. Oh, Dirk! I thought you got one from that last. You definitely must. You definitely must. And then I think it might be because the liner on the. I could be wrong. This could be my wine-soaked eyes lying to me, but it seems like. No, I take it back. I was going to say it seems like the liner on this is ever so slightly thicker, but that's not the case. I think the access notch is ever so slightly larger on the version 4 that I am lavender pants that I am now holding in my hand, as opposed to the version 5 that I'm holding in my hand right now. But I mean, this is a very, very impressive knife. I'm really happy about this thing, and you know what? It also shows me that I'm maturing a little bit. It shows me that I don't need something that is really gnarly looking to really fall for it in an emotional way, not just in I like that and it should work well and this and that, but like, oh God, I can't wait to put that in my pocket. 2020 was a crappy year for everything except knives. The knife news picks don't reflect that. Perfectly said. I could have saved you all like about 12 minutes there. Plains Crafter just came and wrote my script. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Knife Awards sell knives. I'll think about that. I think you are right about that. Okay, so and all that implies. So as we move on, let me just say this: no new knife November ended, and some knives came in. I had my eye on some things. I'm not going to say just because the restaurant was closed doesn't mean I wasn't checking out the menu, man. And there were a couple of things I kept my eye on, and one of them, interesting that Mike should pop up. One of them I was stalking all month on collectorknives.net, and that's where I ended up purchasing it. And it's the only one left in tarnation, and it was buried on the second page. And I was patient and sleuthful enough to find it, and I'm going to show it to you right now. I'm not going to say that, but this is definitely, I think, the biggest and beefiest Great Eastern cutlery knife that I have. And if Jim now cuts to the knife cam, you will see it. So, thank you, sir. Check this out. All right. So this is their trapper, and it is the number 23, and it's a classic trapper, except the main blade is a drop point and not a clip point. So you have a drop point blade there, and look at how big this is. For a traditional knife, this is gigunda, Look at this. This is, what is this? 1, 2, 3. It's 3 3/4 inches long. I mean, that's just like a full size. Look at this. Next to a Centauri. Next to a Scorpion from Off Grid. Look at this. It's giant. I mean, I guess I had some idea from the specs from looking at it. Psychologically, you want to purchase it because it's called Slim Pickens. Yeah, I do see your point. So look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. And it's based off the original. It's based off the Remington. Look at that spay blade. Jeez, oh Pete, man, that is the most beautiful spay blade I have ever laid eyes on, I have to say. Second only to, or it's not second, but the only other one more beautiful is the Rough Rider Sow Belly spay. But look at that. That thing is huge. Now let me show you this compared to a full-size case, and this is sort of the traditional trapper. This is the full-size case trapper. Look at that size difference. It's pretty amazing. Needless to say, this is a safe queen. I will not be carrying it. I actually don't even think I'm going to use it. And I rarely declare such a thing. By the way, this has a pull of, I would say, 8 on both blades, 7 or 8. Well, I'll go with what Dave said on the website. I think he said 7 for the main and 8 for the spay. But they're both, man, they're intense. Spreading some butter there. Yeah. No, I'm chopping off some testicles with this, but I don't want to damage any internal organs. Are you talking about my spay blade? Yeah, man. That's why it's called spay. But yes, at the office, it's great for peanut butter. But believe you me, I clean it with alcohol before I, change from task. And look at this gorgeous, I'm a sucker for jig bone, but this jig bone is just beautiful. It's so dark. And then, okay, so you look at the shield and you see a rifle bullet. This is evocative of, or a tip of the hat of, or tip of the hat to the Remington, the sort of classic Remington slip joints. God, I'm sorry, man. That wine is catching up. Woo! That's what this is, because all the old Remington slip joints had this bullet, Remington, and so there you have it. This is new, and I love it, and it is probably, this will be the high end in terms of largest slip joints I have. This and my Boker Pocket Hunter. They're just gigantic. Gigantic to the point where it's like they should have locks almost. But there's a very stout spring on both of these. So I'm very happy with this purchase. Woo! Excuse me. So, Jim, can I see a couple of those comments that came up while I was kind of just going off on that GEC 23? And while you do, Facebook is a beastly. Yes, giant. I mean, I have no leather pocket slips that will hold this. Pulls rather stout on those two. Yes, just Greg, man. He's got the. He is definitely the traditional knife connection. Chris says, based on the bullet knives, looks like, yes, my 1989 Remington bullet knife is huge too. So soon I will be lurking on eBay looking for those. I think it's very cool that you can kind of almost shop by year with the Remington slip joints. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone who knows more about that. But I think that's kind of cool that it's readily apparent what year the knife was made in. 1989, incidentally, is the year I graduated from high school. Do the math. All right, so next, the Little Rattler, the one I've been talking about for a month now, the one that I broke No New Knife November for and then didn't actually get to appreciate. Jim, can you go to the knife cam for a sec? I want to get a close-up of this because it's such a tiny, tiny knife. So this is the one that was liberated. No, I'm going to say it. I'll be straight up. This is the one that was stolen out of our mail, out of the mail room of the place where Jim and I work, actually. And I learned over the summer that someone who works there is a knife guy. And I bought this from Blade HQ, and I had them send it to the office, you know. And man, they send it. It says BHQ, and anyone in the know knows what that means. And I think Homeboy knew what this meant, and well, he took it for himself. I say Homeboy, and I don't know if that has any racial connotations to any of you, but I'll assure you, he is as white as the driven snow, as am I. So it's no aspersion that way. It's an aspersion on don't steal my knife out of the mail, guy. So in any case, I found someone, a great guy on Blade forums. Nothing but great people on Blade forums so far, from my experience, who had this at an excellent price and like new, and I jumped on it. I wanted this one. I love that shield. Wait, no. What's that thing called? The shield inlay there. And I love the maroon micarta. It's kind of on theme lately with other kind of maroon micarta things I've been doing. This is the Blades and Such handles on my Elvia. So nice. Forthcoming video, Saturday. The video is dropping on that. Glad you found it. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. I've had a number of people, Chris was one of them, reach out to me. And so I wanted to acknowledge, thank you for reminding me. I've had a number of people kind of give me the drop on different knives that I've been saying I've been desiring lately. And he let me know that someone was selling one of these right when I bought this. And then someone else also let me know today or yesterday that one of these was available. And I really thank you so much. I appreciate that greatly. Someone also, and now the name is escaping me. Forgive me, sir. Someone sent me a line on a Terrain 365 STS-AT, the one I'm hot on. And I showed up too late to that website. So thank you for all of those tips. Greatly appreciated. Mike says old Remington 1123 equals GEC 23. Oh, interesting. Same for Remington 1173. What's the 73? Oh, all right. Okay, I don't have the 73. So, Mike, I'm assuming that means the specs are about the same in terms of blade length and overall size. Maybe the blade shapes are different. I'm not sure. That's cool. But this thing, man, I am so grateful that no one else is as observant as I or as desirous as I of this. And I was so glad to find this. I love the hunter pattern, or not the hunter pattern. Well, I love that too, but I love the trapper pattern, and I love a good spade blade. So that was great to find. Another great find, since we're there. This one I didn't mention. This one I had first on my list too. From Rob Bixby, the Apostle P. From his Thursday night knife shows, which of course I missed because I'm prepping for this show. But as you know, Thursday nights, I think, is it 9 or 8:30? He goes live on YouTube every Thursday and sells a raft of sweet knives. And I could not believe that there were 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 GEC number 14s, which is one of my absolute favorite patterns. It's the smaller version of the 15, basically. 3 of them that didn't sell. One of them was in the Knife Bright, which looks like smooth white bone, but it's like white Delrin, glow in the dark Delrin. It had this beautiful blade with the long pull and the machine cut swedge there. And it also had, it was a 2-bladed knife. It had a a pen blade. And then they had another 14. I can't remember what the configuration was. And then this beauty, this single bladed 14. Single bladed 14 with amazing walk and talk. This is from 2016. And I didn't know they made them in 2016. I know they made them in 2018 when I got mine. But it also has that beautiful autumn jig bone, which is just, it's my favorite. And I have kind of the most amount of GECs in this kind of autumn jig bone, yellow, red autumn color. And this is just a little jewel. I love this thing. And they did something in this year with the bone where they polished it in a different way than other bone I've had from them. And I just love it. And dealing with Rob was 100% pleasure. And it was so quick and efficient. You know, if on Thursday nights, before you tune in here at 10 o'clock, you want to go over to, actually, it's funny because before we started rolling here tonight at 10 o'clock, I went over to Rob's channel and it was like 9:30, I guess. And almost everything was sold. There were no GECs tonight. I was looking for more GECs, but almost everything had sold by 9:30 and he was still going live. So, but he is so efficient and pleasant to work with, and you get it almost immediately. And also, not for nothing, for 20 extra bucks, I think it is, he'll sharpen it, and he's a tremendous sharpener. So definitely check out the Bixby, the Rob Bixby knife sale. Chris says he sold it. Oh yeah, I saw that. First time you'd ever seen one. That's funny because that was a knife so the Lone Steel, the Lone Star Hunter is basically a fake stag with steel bolster version of the Steve Austin Broken Skull. It's the same profile and a great knife. And then they did another version of it in S35VN, multiple blade. They did a Stockman version also. They called that the Ranch Boss. I'm sorry, I take it back. But yeah, I love that. I love that knife. I wish I jumped on it when I had the chance, but always something about fake stag. It's like I can take Delrin. I like Delrin to look like bone or whatever, or just to look like nice plastic. But fake stag is taking it too far for me. I'm like, you know, there's some things that whatever you just don't care about, but that's one of those things. So anyway, so next off, another Blade Forums purchase. This was I'm cooking dinner, and I think I put on a buzz purchase. You know, the girls are doing the homework. My wife's wrapping up work. I'm wrapping up dinner. Let me lean against the counter, see what's going on Blade Forums, and I'll show you what was going on Blade Forums. This chestnut bone case peanut in CV steel, CV chrome vanadium. That's their 1095 basically. And it gets so crazy sharp, way, in my opinion, way sharper than their stainless. And what a great little, it's 25 bucks. Great guy on Blade Forums. Sorry, I can't remember your name, but quick and responsive, and had this to me right quick. And 25 bucks. Look at this. Both blades are patinaed and razor sharp. This dude, I'm going to put this under the knife cam. This guy really did a nice job on sharpening these blades, and I think he may have done them by hand, but very, very sharp knife. But you know, I like the peanut. I like smaller slip joints, but what really drew me in, I love Case's chestnut bone. I just love these old looking bone handles. They just, I don't know, they tap into something ancient. What can I say? So I got that. And then one more. Oh, wait. Before we move on to that, I wanted to show you. Oh, I already showed you that. Forget it. I take it back. I was going to show you this size difference because it just jumped out at me again. Like, look at how much bigger that GEC trapper based on the Remington 1123. Look at how much bigger that is. Amazing. Southern Edge Knife Works. Lovely to have you, sir. Peanut, great carry to throw in the pocket. It is. And you know what else I like about it? It's not just it's literally throw in the pocket, because it will inevitably, like most knives without clips, start riding sideways in your pocket. And the peanut is just the right size that you don't know. And this is, or that you don't feel it, you know, and it'll rattle around in your change, and you'll get street cred kind of ground into the bolsters. But this version is also called pocket worn. So if you look at it, it looks like it's pocket worn, and that the bolsters are kind of contoured and rounded off. Gotta run, guys. Thanks for the show. Take care, Dirk. I'm sure you're gone. You didn't see that salute, but it's always a pleasure to have you here, sir. I know I promised to send you some traditionals. Haven't gotten to it yet. Sorry, I'm in a honeymoon phase, but I'll get them to you at some point soonish. How do you like that for vague? I'm going to go into politics, just vagueness. Okay, so I have one more knife I want to show you, and then I'm going to knife fight myself again, apparently. Unless anyone here wants to knife fight Benchmade versus ZT. And the reason we're doing Benchmade versus ZT is because, well, frankly, all of the Benchmade that kept showing up in that Knife News readers poll made me think like of other options kind of in the same strata. So I'd like to hear if anyone else has any ideas about that, how that would go. Does the GEC oiled still smell? No. Funny. That's funny. No, it doesn't. I remember talking about that. It doesn't. And I don't know if it's had a chance to soak up some of the DeMarco household, and now it smells like Italian sausage. But no, it doesn't smell. A knife that continues to smell, I mean, like forever, is probably made in Pakistan. And that is no diss. I really don't mean that, but in my experience, the knives that smell the most are those, and it's because I think they use a lot of copper, and copper kind of has a smell, and the steel is weird, and I don't know. I love my cheap knives, my $12 marbles knives, but I won't get cheap fixed blade knives because they usually come from Pakistan, from my experience, and something about those knives, you know. And I can't say that I know any Pakistani people. So, Pakistanis are my best friends. I'm not trying to make aspersions, but I'm really not. I love Cormac Kashmiri, and that's kind of close. I got that at so my point is this. I just don't like knives that continue to smell. And so, no. No, my oiled field jack was made in Pennsylvania, sir. And I love that knife. Well, I love both of them. Love, I got to stop using that word, because actually love is truly the one thing that keeps me going right now, because right now things are just things defy logic. People defy logic right now. So love is the thing that matters the most in my life right now. So maybe I should curb my use of the word love when I'm talking about these little things I like to get. But let me show you the last little thing that I got. Harold says Benchmade versus Hogue. Okay, if you come on, I'll do that with you. That's a good one. I should have thought about that. And even if you don't come on and I'm doing this with myself, I might do that anyway. Okay, last thing I got. A big Amazon purchase, okay? This is the setup. This is the context and the justification. Big Amazon purchase for the family, for Christmas, for the house, for everybody. Got a lot of special things. I thought of special things for girls, things that little girls would like. I got those things. Things to decorate their rooms, cool lights and remote control-y light things. And so I figured, I'm being such a good dad. How am I going to open all these packages that are coming? I mean, they can be challenging. They really, and maybe I need to, so that's as far as I take the justification. I got this. I haven't gotten a new Victorinox in a coon's age. That's an old term. But now that I say it, I'm not sure if that's a bad old term. So I'm just going to say, I used to have a boss that said that, but that sounds wrong now that I say it. So I haven't gotten a new Victorinox in an age, in a literal age. And this one under this bright light, which I'm going to turn it down a little, see if it does better with this aluminum handle, this ALOX handle. Oh, well, now it's just off. Put it here. So this is the Victorinox ALOX Pioneer X. So ALOX, aluminum handle with the great knurling. Pioneer, that is a Victorinox that has a main blade. Love that main blade. This is a full-size Victorinox. And it's got an awesome punch blade or awl, which to me, it, really rings of stockman knife. And I love that. I love the idea of a cattleman knife. And then it's got the screwdriver, cap lifter, and then wire stripper. That's what that little notch is for. And then over here you have the micro screwdriver and the can opener. But then what else? Oh, this is an X. So it's got the scissors. It's got the scissors. And besides the tweezers and the toothpick, it's the best tool Victorinox has, those awesome scissors. I think they should be on every Victorinox knife. And I think they should buy back every one they ever sold without scissors and retrofit them in. They're awesome. So I got this, and I really am not. I could see how people can nerd out on Victorinox and really go down the rabbit hole with collecting these things. I'm not going to do that, but I must admit, when I got this in hand, by the way, this is a 3-spring slip joint, so it's pretty thick, but it's still, it's like a camp knife, I decided that though I'm not going to get into collecting these, it would be great to see one of these aluminum ones colored, anodized, but then used and carried a lot and worn around the edges. Maybe it merits getting one and then taking some very fine sandpaper. I'm just kidding. That's like buying Levi's and then ripping them up. Lavender pants, especially I'm sorry. Can you go back? I think he had it. Okay, that's exactly what I always end up using for Christmas morning. A Swiss Army knife. Yeah, exactly. Well, the scissors are great for. I'm not sure if you have kids, but the toys are always like, especially girls' toys. They're like tied down to the package with zip ties, and you have to go back and snap them. Gert says, "Ooh, Victorinox. I just got the Swiss Tool Spirit the other day, and it's stunning. Just amazingly well designed. Bit of glossy stainless steel. Highly recommended." Cool. I love that. I'll definitely check that out. Love the Victorinox ALOX. I do too. I have the silver, blue, and gold Pioneer. They feel. I love the ALOX Victorinox. Me too. And I love how they look when other people have them and they wear. And well, I didn't think of that when I got the silver one, but. Joe says, I have the 2016 limited Pioneer X in Damascene steel and green. We have an aristocrat here. I like that. I love green anodized anything, and I'd be willing to suffer through some Damascene steel for that. Just kidding. Toys always have little plastic zip ties. Yeah, and it's funny. You'll get like Elsa. That was a big one for my girls, and then some of the others. And they're already looking like tarts. I'm sorry to say this, but some of these girls' dolls, I'm like, that's strangely attractive. Why is she wearing that dress? And she's like, it's weird. Yeah, you're right. You just got to take the thing and clip it. Ugh. I apologize for saying strangely attractive. That's not exactly what I meant. What I really meant is they kind of dress these dolls up for little girls like tarts. And I kind of object to it. Gert says, I plan on getting a compact, which has those scissors plus a combi opener, main blade, hook with the nail file. I like the hook, the tweezers, toothpick, pen, and scales, plus a pin under the. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. You get the corkscrew with the extra small screwdriver thing. Wait, I saw the knives you made on one of the last videos. Look like great work. Have you tried making any stick tang blade? No. Can you make blade blanks dead cheap with wood handles are easy? You can get, yeah. Okay. So to me, I know that a lot of people have cut their teeth on the bought blanks. Tart's great word. But I like the starting from I like starting from the start. So I like to cut it out. It's part of the thing because no one's making a blank the way I might see it, and to me it's like any time I'm spending on anything creative that's not at work, because work requires a bit of creative energy. I like to do it all myself, just so I know it's all myself. The can opener makes a decent little hook to hook something. Oh, interesting. You talking about the can opener? Oh yeah, I could see that. Harold says, any big knives under the tree, Bob? Big knives? No, not under. Okay, so I cannot count on getting knives for Christmas unless my wife is desperate and she relents. Okay, and that's my strategy this year. And the thing you do is you wait just long enough. What do you want for Christmas this year, Bob? Let me think about it. I'll get back. I have a couple practical ideas. I'll get back to you. And then what you do is you wait till just kind of like right before the last minute and you say, well, what I really want is the Jason Knight Doug Marcaida collaboration knife that you can only find on Tactical Elements. And you love Forged in Fire. You love Jason Knight. You love Doug Marcaida. I think that's what I want, baby. Let's just do that. And so that's how you get it. I want to add an Alox Farmer X to the collection too. Yes, and the Farmer has the saw. And I kind of thought when I was buying the Pioneer, it also had the saw. But I think it's too much to ask for the awl and the saw. I mean, this awl. This is a great awl because it flares out. Different from their other perpendicular mounted punch blades. Good night and a great show. Good night, sir. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for showing up. And man alive, I love your the GEC you showed with the great awl. I'm looking for that knife. The last two knives you've shown, sir, the Churchill and the calf knife. I can't remember what it's called. Love them both. Dying for them both. No, not dying. Looking forward to acquiring them myself. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure. Gert says, if I had the tools, I would definitely try making a full tang knife from scratch. Yeah. I would love to make a leather stacked handle. I think that's probably the first kind of through tang knife I would try to make. Something reminiscent of a K-bar handle. Incognito says, the only Victorinox is the Victorinox Pioneer. Oh, really, sir? We have a zealot. Is that the right word? We have a devotee. Let's say that. So this is the one you like. So as a purist, as a Pioneer purist, what do you think of the X version with the scissors? Is that going too far? Gert says, I have the Harvester. Oh, which has a little hook blade instead of a can opener. Great little super sharp. Yeah, that's a cool one. Is that, Gert, is that in the Alox also? Because I think I've seen that in the Alox. I have a great knife sitting right over there that is a Wenger, and it actually belongs to Jim, and I still have to sell it. And maybe this is a good time to talk about it because it's a Wenger, and Wengers, are in that same universe with Victorinox, but are they gone? Are Wenger completely gone, or are they just making scissors and cheap kitchen knives? Or I don't know. But I know that a lot of Swiss Army knife guys like them. Who is this? Who am I talking to?
Hi. I would argue in favor of Benchmade. My name is Brian.
Right on. Hey, Brian, how you doing, man?
Hey, doing pretty good.
Good. It's a pleasure to have you on. So, okay.
And by the way, I really get why you're peeved at this particular moment against Benchmade, but I don't know if it's their fault. That maybe it is their fault. If it's pay to win, then it's their fault. But I don't think it's their fault that they're part of the knife news spotlight right now.
Oh, no, certainly not. Actually, I'm glad. So I'm glad you're mentioning this because it seems that I'm getting across the wrong idea. I'm upset with the people who are actually answering the readers' polls, who are not opening their eyes to all the trillions of videos with all the knives beyond Benchmade, Chris Reeve, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
So to what extent do you think that it's illegitimate that they want it, though?
oh, I
In
don't think
that, does it
I
actually reflect what people think?
no. Yes, what I'm saying is I don't think it's illegitimate at all. It's like when you watch the Oscars and you're like, oh man, Forrest Gump, that movie was bullshit. But
Well,
really,
people
actually,
argue that that is illegitimate because the process there is a bunch of elites or people that don't reflect the whole
true
choose
enough.
the winners.
True enough. But this is a readers poll we're talking about. So really, what I'm saying is the readers of Knife News are the ones who are answering that poll.
So what
And
population is the
and,
reader?
and well, and to me, and I'm a regular reader of Knife News because I rely on it to bring content. They're one of the knife resources, right? So if you're reading that on a weekly basis, you are getting so much more than Benchmade, Chris Reeve, and Spyderco that it's interesting to me that readers just keep coming back to what's familiar. Maybe it's times of crisis.
Yeah, I think some other factor has to be going on there because, like you're saying, the people who know a lot about knives wouldn't just focus on those brands. It makes no sense.
So what else do you think is going on there?
So I think there's got to be something having to do with. Okay, so let's put all the things on the table, right? First, there could just be like out and out corruption / something that someone's lying to us about, right? Like they pay or somebody pays to win it. Maybe that's some factor. Unlikely. Let's set that aside, right? Second thing, maybe
You mean like a paid advertising scheme, kind of?
yeah, and at some level we're being lied to about it. But let's set that aside. Highly unlikely.
Right.
Second thing, maybe those particular companies advertise specifically in some way that sways people to vote for the thing. Like, who actually participates? Do you get prompted to participate in it, or do you have to like go out of your way to go into this poll and then do the poll?
That I can't answer. Actually, I don't know.
Who finds out about the poll? Do you just go to the website and you're like, oh, there's a poll here? Or
well, funny you should
brands get people to go to the poll?
Funny you should ask that question because, I mean, I check in with it at least twice a week. At least twice a week. Well, at most twice a week too. That's pretty much my schedule. Twice a week I check in with Knife News, and I don't ever remember seeing a poll. I have to be honest. But that being said, there are always sidebar things, and I'm always looking at the main article because I check in enough that's the main article and the first three in the tiles. I'm not looking all over the site. I'm not looking on the sidebar and all that stuff. So that's an interesting thing to check out. So continue with your.
So yeah, like a Fox Knives or a Benchmade might be really on top of knowing how to get people to get into the poll. And once you're doing it through their portal, like of course you're going to vote for them. Last thing, maybe it's that there's just certain brands that have like a legacy status that everyone knows about them, and like that's
what I think it is.
What happened, but
that's Occam's razor, really. I mean, to me, that's the simplest answer. I've and I'm sorry to interrupt you, and I want to hear the rest of that thought. But since I've already interrupted you, I'll say that working in my job, I've worked parallel to, at times, not full time, police officers and law enforcement of different sorts, and I always ask, like a nosy Rosie, what kind of knife do you carry? And they don't always carry Benchmade, but they almost always, law enforcement almost always aspires to carry it. They love Benchmade. So that has a ripple effect. I could see how people could consider Benchmade. Yeah, if you want a serious, like something that police and military use, you get a Benchmade. If you want something that's like the highest level sort of civilian walk around luxury knife, you get a Chris Reeve. If you want the in between, you get a Spyderco, whatever it is. But I think your last theory is probably the right one. the most true, I'll say.
Well, maybe it's a mix of what I said and then what you're saying, because I could totally see, like, take for example the Mini 940. Why does it come in that particular color scheme? Right? Like, it's not a knife nerds color scheme. You'd put it in jade or something if you wanted knife nerds to get really into it. It comes in black with blue a little bit. Please.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think maybe there's like a certain type of knife nerd that isn't us, and that is very, like, there's a lot of them, and we just don't think about them. And they probably voted in this thing.
Yeah, that could be too. I mean, I kind of feel like your penultimate answer was the right one. Like, or to me, that's the one that rings the most true. The one that requires the least thought. And I hate to put it that way, but to me, that's probably the one that's the most true. Like, name recognition. It's like, what's your favorite car? Chevy, Ford, Ferrari, Porsche. If
no one's going to say Ferrum Ford Stinger, even though.
Yeah, right, exactly. Even though it might take a minute. Even I, like, if I were forced, what best knife of 2020? I could see how a little bit of stage fright might come into it, but yeah, that's interesting, man. I really don't think that there's enough money, power, or influence in the knife community for it to be like a big, like, anything more than your name recognition theory. Just because the stakes are low. The stakes are low. How do smaller brands get to that level then? Because that's what we would want, right? We want We Knives eventually to win these things once in a while, right? We want Riot to win when they deserve it, even though you can't possibly see that happening right now. Yeah. Well, yeah, there's that. Well, there's that aspect. The
Chris Reeve thing kind of baffles me, though. Who voted for that?
Well, especially for high-end folder. I mean, like, that really literally is a 31-year-old design. I know it's had tweaks all along the way, and that's the point of having the Sabenza, and then the 21, and then the 25, and then the 31. I get it. I get all the upgrades, but it's the same project that they've been working on all along. They've been perfecting the same project, as they should. I love the lineage of that. I love the idea of that. We're going to have this model and it will be perfect. It doesn't matter how many versions of this we put out, but to call it the best new high-end folder. Yeah. Technically it's new. All right.
And maybe technically it's best.
Technically it's new. Yeah. Right. Best, of course, is an opinion thing, but yeah.
But, like, also, I wonder, like, what's the point of an award ceremony if you keep seeing the same thing over and over again? Like, just stepping back at a meta level, like, wouldn't you, as an award ceremony, want to have the most interesting headline by every year being like, who knows what might win? It's actually going to be a bunch of crazy things that are really innovative. And
well, so a lot of it, this is a concept that's been coming up over and over, but a lot of everything relies on trust. You can't have an economy without trust. You can't have commerce without trust. I can't do an interview without trust, knowing, like, if someone's lying to me while I'm interviewing them, not that I talk to them about, world-changing events, but if someone's lying to me, that's on them. That's their reputation on the line. I'm not here to, like, call that out. But the point, I'm sorry, I lost my point there. I started.
If I could try and pick up where I think you're going. So there is this problem where, like, do you allow the masses, whatever that may be, to choose something, or do you allow, like Gert is saying, do you allow a specialist or a suite of specialists?
No. That's what Blade Show is for. That's a suite of specialists who are judging knives and handing out awards. This is a reader's poll, and presumably it's on the up and up, and so that's what I'm doing. That's what I was getting at with the whole trust thing. I'm presuming that the whole Knife News Readers poll thing is on the up and up, and actual readers somehow got in touch with this poll and gave their answers. What I'm disappointed at is kind of the mentality behind the people answering the polls. And to me, that's the mentality that drives a lot of popular culture, entertainment, that kind of stuff that I'm like, God damn, another superhero movie. Really?
Right. The sequels.
What hasn't been covered? What answers remain to be? But that's, that's me being an old fart about it. But
you're not alone, right? Like one of my favorite Nick Shabazz videos is, I think it's called Why. It's just titled Why. And the thesis is, he just asks you, why this new iteration on a thing you've seen a lot? Like, why this new D2 G10 flipper? Why? Do we need it? Does it have to exist?
Yeah.
I mean, if it just exists because so something that I'm really curious what your thoughts are. Mm-hmm. Gerber just came out with essentially a Griptilian. Like, it's an S30V axis lock, and it's a Gerber. Are we happy about that? Is that what we wanted out of Gerber? Is that what we wanted when we wanted Gerber to like get better? To make a Griptilian?
Yeah. No. I mean,
I'm not satisfied with that. I don't know about you.
No. That's, I mean, to me, to be totally honest, to me, I don't take that seriously. Like, it will take something different to take Gerber seriously. I mean, I haven't taken them seriously in a while. A lot of people haven't, and they've been kind of clawing their way back. SOG kind of went through a similar thing. However, they've pulled themselves out nicely. I feel like Gerber's trying.
But then let me put it to you: how do you feel about the Hogue? That's a that's a Griptilian. It's the Doug Ritter, whatever X 55 million, whatever.
The RSK. Yeah. I feel like it's a way better Griptilian. That's how I feel about it.
Are you happy it exists? Like, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel fine because that's a design that Doug Ritter came up with. That Benchmade was the what do you call it? The word. Well, they were the maker of it, and the OEM.
Or something.
Yeah, they were the OEM maker, the original equipment manufacturer of that knife, and then Benchmade said, we are not doing OEM work anymore. We're doing only our own in-house stuff in collaboration work with knife makers. And so he needed to find someone else to do that design. And Hogue says, we'll do it, and they did it better.
So I guess we're happy if someone takes something that we've seen and does it way better. But no. The whole unique selling proposition of the Ritter RSK is the blade. Oh, unique blade.
That blade was always different and better than the saber ground in a lot of people's opinion. Also, in my opinion, incidentally, though I've never been a big fan of the Griptilian, but taking the saber grind of the Griptilian, and he made it almost a full flat grind, so it's a broader slicey or whatever. Yeah, and also the handle feels better, but that's a Hogue. I mean, that's their texturing and all the stuff they did with it. So to me, that's a great question. No, I don't. I talk about this a lot. There's a lot of just the same, only different stuff going on. And
so I actually came on here thinking I was going to argue Benchmade in favor against ZT. I thought you were going to argue ZT, and the angle I was going to take with you mainly was going to be that I think ZT is kind of reached a point where they're just iterating or doing things other people do, but not so compellingly.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas at least Benchmade still kind of innovates on a regular-ish frequency. How do you feel about that? Is that a good argument?
I feel like both. I feel like both of them really struggled to innovate. A Benchmade created the axis lock. That's awesome. That's where it kind of stops with innovation for them. ZT, maybe you could argue that they innovated on the builds and making them as robust as possible in that sort of high unit production environment. But but to me, ZT has always been more compelling and interesting because they work with other designers. They work with designers, and they have gotten more expensive, exclusive designers work in my hands than any other company at the highest value level than any other. I will never own a Gus Cecchini knife, probably.
Well, they're definitely not alone anymore in that game, right?
No,
Like,
no, but I still have it's not a special place in my heart. That's emotional. I still believe that for American manufacturing, they really make an outstanding knife for a good price.
yeah, who else makes collabs in America?
Oh, in America?
In a production setting.
Well, Spyderco does. Benchmade does in a smattering. You know, Benchmade worked with Sibbert, and they worked. They've worked with a lot of. They've worked with a lot of people. And I think Spyderco probably more so. But it all looks like a Spyderco. It all has to have the fucking hole. Excuse my French. And it all has to have the hump. You know, like.
And those are all made in Taiwan, I think.
The collaboration knives?
Collabs. What are the American-made collabs?
I'm not sure. Southern Edge says Waypoint needs to be in the contending for knife of the year, in my opinion. The Waypoint. Oh, is that the
I think it's
quiet carry? Or the rust-proof quiet carry. I think Benchmade did come out with the Tengu this year. I got my dad the Tengu flipper for his birthday last year.
How was it? Did you get to play with it?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. And you know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a huge Benchmade fan, but my oh my, oh yes sir, my oh my, that was a really nice knife. And not for nothing, I love the design. I love it's got kind of an, you know, the whole black G10 handle is kind of inlaid, and the flipping action is incredible, and the blade is really cool. So I think the Tengu's right on.
And doesn't it not have a clip?
No, it comes in like a little leather pouchy thing.
I kind of like that. I kind of want to live in a world where there's more bottom of the pocket, small stuff.
I also want to live in a world where pants pockets at the bottom have a little area to fit your slip joints so that they stay vertical. Dude, it drives me nuts. Cool. This thing. You know, where they go sideways, unless it's a tiny little knife like this little rattler, it'll just drive me nuts, man. So do you want to do a knife fight, Benchmade versus ET?
Well, I kind of came at you with my main argument. I was going to attempt to say that, at least in terms of the things I think are important, Benchmade is more innovative even now, even if they lost the axis lock.
Okay, then
I think of ZT, I think flippers, frame locks, you know, there's a ton of those.
All right, then let's swap positions. I'll defend Benchmade. You defend ZT. We'll both get a minute and a half.
Okay.
And you're up first. Because it's my show, damn it. No, I'm just kidding.
You're going to make me defend ZT.
What's that?
You're going to make me defend ZT.
Yeah, we're going to change our positions, because I was ready to defend ZT, and now I think you should, vice versa. I'll handle it.
Well, it's 1 o'clock now. The thing I would say about ZT is, I think, so I once got this ZT, I forget the number, they all blend together, but it was a Siebert, and it was gigantic, and it was like that classic ZT feel where it's like kerchunk, and you're like, this is a knife that you can, like, I don't know, irresponsibly chop wood with, or, you know, like, you feel like there's something about it that's like otherworldly and unique. And yeah, you get that with an axis lock, but it's a different kind of unique with a ZT. And I think the thing that a lot of people want to get back from ZT is to have every knife be like ridiculous and kerchunk. I think it came out this year as like tan G10. There was a ZT that came out this year. That one, and it did the thing. And so I would say, if there's anything that is seemingly still unique about ZT, you can't get a ton of that feel outside of ZT. Other people are encroaching, and if ZT wants, they can come back and like take the crown and just be like, we make the best Kerchunk flippers that you've ever seen.
All right. Wow, you came in 15 seconds early. That was good. I know what you mean by Kerchunk, and this is not my argument yet. I know what you mean by Kerchunk, and I've heard people like very much like bristle at like when they started with the Sinkovich knives and things got more slender and like the 452 and the 450.
Yeah, it's like that Persian looking one.
The Persian, that's the 462. Now, to me, I had the 462 and I sold it, and that was because it was very, you know what? It was built like a Riat. It was like so light, so strong, but it was lightness. And carbon fiber, I'm not a huge fan, but I got rid of that, not because I didn't think it was a great knife. It was a great knife, but what I'm doing is offering an olive branch. That Kerchunk from a ZT is something that you want to feel, and you can feel it in some of their more svelte knives, like the 0452 CF, the big one. That's a kind of skinny, long, thin knife, but you open it up and it's a Kerchunk. So good argument. But I am going to talk about Benchmade here, and I'm checking my watch, and I am going to say this, that though I'm a collector, I am a commentator, a knife commentator, and other things that have to do with knives, enthusiast, ridiculous consumer thereof, and all those kind of things. All of that being said, I do have the instinct to defer to people who use knives in their job, and if their job has in any way skirts up to life and death, to me, and this is just me, it carries more weight. Especially in talking about gear. That being said, in my experience with law enforcement officers and also firefighters, they all gravitate towards the Benchmade knife. Now, why is that? I can't say.
Sorry,
I cannot say, because I am not going out on those calls. But those men and women are going out on those calls night after night after night, and they are putting their lives on the line with Benchmade knives in their pockets. So I take their word as something that means something, and then also in my own experience with Benchmade knives, I have noticed their ease of use, their ease of carry, their sharpness, and their great heat treat. They have a wonderful lock that is easy enough to use, and well, they have started a revolution for other people to make that boom to the second.
All right, yeah, I agree with you that there's probably a user that isn't you or I that has something to say about how reliable Benchmade is. Why don't they buy ZTs? Do you ever find military folks or law enforcement that buy ZTs, like ever?
So no, or not that, and I don't have much contact with military people, but no. And the couple that so no is the answer, and I think it's lack of exposure. I really do think that most gun stores have Benchmade knives in them. Where my brother goes in Ohio, he incidentally has an awesome knife cabinet at his gun store. But most gun stores are kind of like 511s and Benchmades, and that I've noticed in my area.
And Southern Edge Knife Works is also saying something really relevant. Like, they really get in on those discount programs, and they know how to work those things. And make them known to people that might buy a knife and they're on the edge. And what if the price was a little lower?
And they also show up in the PIXs. Is that what they're called? Or I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm not a military person, but the military stores. I know that they're there a lot, And oh
I
yeah,
wonder how they get in there. Do they talk to certain people? They know certain people?
they've had a number of knives that have been commissioned by the government, like that switchblade that I have, the AT8 Armed Forces, the AFO2 Armed Forces only, except Armed Forces. I joke that it's Armed Forces and suburban dads only. What's that?
I feel like the infidel might also be something that like was specifically asked for by soldiers.
Right. So they have some knives that had government contracts, and that's probably a big part of it. Now, I don't mean to take anything away from Benchmade. Really, like to be 100% truthful, it's a taste thing for me. I don't think they're an inferior knife. I just don't like them as much as I like some other knives. And my criteria are not based on use. So
if you were to design a Benchmade that you would buy instantly, what would it be?
It would be something way out of their wheelhouse. It'd be a very large folder. I know they had the AAFO, the one that looks kind of daggery, but is
they have like the Adamas, and they have the Contigo. Those are not really scratching your itch.
Well, no, I had the Contigo. That was a cool knife, but I ended up selling that one. I do like that knife, the Contigo. There are things I would change. And a friend of mine had the Adamas, but no, I mean like 5-inch. I mean like they have one right now that's a long,
something only you see in cold steel.
Something like that. That would bring me along, because or something that was just like mind blowing. I'm a fan of Seabird.
Maybe Lynn should go and work. Now that he's a free bird.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
In Demco can make a Benchmade.
Could you imagine that? It would be like the beginning of what's that Monty Python movie where the two corporate buildings come up and they have like a cannon fight, like two. Yeah, it would be like that. It would be a melee between knife companies there. I don't know, man. I think it would have to be a very unique design. They've made some that I like. The Bedlam. I like the Loco is kind of cool, not cool enough, but it's kind of cool. I like the pistol grip on the Loco. What I love, I love their composite handled switchblade. That's a great cool little knife. So I'm not totally against Benchmade, but anyway. I
feel like I've taken up a lot of time. Maybe we ought to. Do you have anything else on the menu?
Oh, well, no, I'm about to wrap the show, but okay. Don't ever worry about taking it too much time. It was a pleasure meeting you and talking with you, man. Like,
great to talk to you.
You had some good things to say, and I feel like we had a pretty good knife fight, and it's nice not to debate myself. Hey, thanks, Jock. Great to have you here. As always, 4:45 a.m. Check it out. Skull. Cheers. Down the hatch, sir.
Well, you mentioned doing Hogue versus Benchmade, so I still want to see someone else argue that one week.
We will do that. I think we've done that, but we'll do it again. That's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah. K-Bar would be my choice. Benchmade is for mall cops. Love it. Woo! Not that mall cops are bad. We need our cops. So there we go. All righty, sir. Tell everyone where they can reach you on Instagram, etc.
I don't really have any social media at the moment. I'm just really glad to be on the show and be able to talk to you.
So leave this guy alone, man. Hey,
maybe I'll show up again. I really wanted to show off some Benchmates. So if you ever have like a show about weird mods, I do like some mods.
Oh, dude. Okay. All right. Well, come on next week. Come on earlier, and I want to see some of your mods and your Benchmates. Yeah, definitely.
Sure. Yeah. I'll start with the Benchmates. Got some other ones. Civivis are very fun.
Civivis?
Yeah, you can mod those. It's nice and cheap. Lots of options.
Awesome, man. All right. Send me the Element. Send me an email, bob@thenifejunkie.com. And
sure.
So just so I can get in touch with you before next week. I want to see some of these Benchmades. Sell me, sir. Sell me on the Benchmade. He's like, yeah. All righty, my man. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And for Jim, working his magic behind the switcher, I want to say thank you all for tuning in and joining us on this festive. I love this. Oh, wait, over here. I love this. On this festive edition of Thursday Night Knives, I am Bob DeMarco. I was going to say the Knife Junkie, bidding you a fond farewell and have a wonderful week. And no matter what happens, don't take dull for an answer.